Namaste, beautiful friends. Welcome back to Yoga Infusion. This class is going to be a class dedicated to building a powerful posterior. And now I don't just mean the booty, although we will be working on that a little bit as well, but I'm talking about the entire posterior chain. So we've got the backs, the upper back, the mid back, lower back, glutes, and hamstrings. So when you're ready, I'll meet you on the mat. Find your way to Tadasana at the front of the mat. You can take the feet shoulder distance apart, or rather hip distance apart, or have the toes together touching, heels apart. Yogi's choice. Keep a micro bend in the knee, roll the shoulders back and down, lift through the crown of the head, and close the eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose, allowing the shoulders to glide down the back. Another deep breath, turning the attention inward. Another deep breath out. And really take this moment to come to stillness before we begin this practice together. Allow your time, your day, your plans off the mat to fall away as we drop into the present moment. You may notice sounds around you, smells, distractions. Allow your attention to draw away from those things and turn to the cadence of the breath. Noticing how it feels as it moves into the body and how it feels as it moves out. And noticing how it feels to be alive in your body today. Three more slow, deep, present breaths. And on your next in-breath, swoop the arms down, around, and up. And exhale, bend the knees, flat back, swan dive forward. Inhale, half lift, keeping that flat back, core engaged. Dip the chin. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back to plank. Spread the fingers wide, hook the hip points towards the face, press through the heels. Heart space moves between the biceps. Take the feet a little bit wider now for balance and reach the right arm forward. Engage the core. Try to keep the hips square best you can. Place the right hand down. Left arm reaches forward. Plug the shoulder back into its socket. Place it down. Bring the belly to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Press through the hands, squeeze the elbows towards one another. Tops of the feet press into the mat. Tops of the feet. Release the head, press it back. Downward facing dog. Pedal through the feet. Dip the chin, lengthen the back of the neck. Shake your head yes and no. Look under the right shoulder and the left. Once again, shoulder blades glide down the back. Navel sucks up and in. And come to stillness. in your downward facing dog. Inhale, up onto the toes, bend the knees, look between the hands, and meander little bitty baby steps all the way to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees deeply, dip the chin, and roll all the way back up to standing. Swoop the arms above the head, and exhale, press the air away to the left and the right. Excellent. Inhale, bring the fingertips behind the ears, elbows splayed wide. You can take your feet hip distance apart if that feels comfortable for you. Try not to arch too much in the lower back. We're bringing the stretch into the upper back. So widen the elbows. Inhale, imagine you have a string lifting your chest, your heart space up to the sky. Engage the core. Exhale, round through the back. Elbows come to touch. Inhale, look up, lifting through the heart space. Exhale, press the shoulder blades to the back of the room. Inhale, open and lift, squeeze the shoulder blades together. And exhale, really rounding through the back. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, bring the right elbow towards the right hip. Left elbow moves up towards the sky. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, other side, left elbow towards left hip. Try to stay in one plane of energy so you're not rounding forward with the shoulders. Heart space is still facing the front of the room. Inhale, back to center. Over to the right, engage the core. Inhale up. Exhale left. One more time each side. To the right. To the left. And back to center, release the arms. Take those feet hip distance apart if they weren't already. Inhale, reach the arms up above the head. You'll want to bend the knees here. Half fold. So we're not coming down, we're more in our half lift space. Arms are reaching forward. You can also bring your hands to the hips if this causes some twinging in the lower back. Keep the knees bent. Navel sucks up towards the spine. Try to bring, do your best to bring your torso parallel to the mat. Dip the chin. Knees are bent to protect the back. If possible, reach the hands forward and swim them back towards the heels, hips. Inhale forward. Exhale, swim the fingertips back towards the hips. Forward. You'll notice a little bit of a rocking motion while you keep your balance. And if this is causing any pain in the back, just keep your hands on the hips or come into a forward fold. Couple more. Core engaged, back flat. 2 more. Forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, back. Forward. Last one. Back. And release the head, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step it back to plank. This time, 3-legged plank with the right heel lifted. Keep the hips square. Core tight. Spread through the fingers. Step it down. Left foot lifts. Try to keep the hips square. Strong plank alignment. Step it down and bring the belly to the mat. Squeeze the elbows towards one another. Inhale, cobra. You can take your hands off of the mat to make sure that you're not using them too much, that you're really engaging the lower back. And release. Reach both hands forward, both legs back. I suppose you can't really reach your legs in other directions, so your legs are behind you, your arms are in front of you. And as you inhale, kick the heels, the hands, heart space lift. Exhale, release, forehead to the mat. Inhale, kick the heels high, hands high, heart space lifts, release. Inhale, 3 Supermans. Squeeze at the top. 4, 5, 5 more. 6, 7, dip the chin, create length in the back of the neck. 8, 9, last one. 10. Press it back to downward facing dog. Woo. Your lower back should be warming up. Inhale, right heel kicks high to the sky. Keep the hips square. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Press through the base of each finger. And we'll pump that right heel up 5 times. 1, keeping the hips square best you can. 2, pinky toe facing the mat. 3, all 5 toes really. 4, engage the glute. 5, step it through. Inhale, high lunge. I'm feeling a really strong stretch through the front of the hip flexor, so that must have been pretty tight today. Normally this pose is not very sensational for me. So let me know if you're feeling a good stretch here today too. Relax the shoulders, maybe take the hands a little bit wider. Fingertips always energetic. Maybe sink a little deeper. Press through that left heel. Big breath in and big breath out. Plant the palms, step it back to plank. Kick the right heel up this time in plank 10 times. 1, flex a foot. 2, core tight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, engage the glute. 8, 9, 10, belly to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Create a pillow underneath your forehead with your hands. And you'll notice that in many of these videos, I stay lifted while I'm talking to you, and that's because of the location of my mic. If I put my head down, the sound is going to become very, very distorted. So bring your forehead to rest onto your hands. I will do the same as soon as I'm done explaining the move. You'll flex that right foot, starting with the right foot on the outside of the mat. Engage the glute, kick the heel to the sky, and bring the right foot in right next to where the left one would be. Imagine that you have a block underneath, so you're really lifting the leg quite high over an imaginary obstacle, or a real obstacle if you'd like to put something there right now. So we'll do that 10 times, in and out. In and out equals 1. So, lift out, lift in. 1, out, in. 2, flex the heel. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Press it back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left heel kicks up now. Do your best to square the hip. You can keep the right leg bent, and we'll pump that left heel up 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step it through. Inhale on up. High lunge. Square the hips. Press the right heel away from you. Bring the hips underneath the shoulders. Relax the shoulders. Engage the core. Fingertips energetic. Come back to noticing how that breath moves in and out of the body. Perhaps it's more warm now. Perhaps it's more quick. Big breath in. Big breath out. Plant the palms. Step it back to plank. Kick the left heel up. Engage the glutes 10 times. 1, 2, core tight. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring the belly to the mat. Inhale, cobra. And release. Create the little hand pillow once again. Flex the left foot. In and out over our obstacle 10 times. 1, 2, 3, really kick with the heel, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and press it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, right heel lifts to the sky. Maybe keep a bend in that left knee if you're feeling the back of your left leg talking to you too much. And pump the right heel up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rock forward to plank, knee to nose. 1 big breath here. And step it through. Inhale, high lunge. I think it's only the left hip flexor for me, so my left hip flexor is very tight today. Awesome. Now, taking the weight onto the right leg, launch forward. So we're balancing now on the right leg. Keep the hips square. You can keep the left knee bent or straight. Micro bend in the right knee. Take the fingertips, hinge at the hips, flat back. Come down, touch the mat, or if the mat seems an incredibly far distance away, grab some blocks or a chair. Keep the core engaged, keep the back flat. Press through the right heel, come up, left knee to right elbow. This is really going to test the balance today. Keep that bend in the right leg, hinge at the hips, one-legged deadlift. Come on up, right knee to left, left knee to right elbow. Ready? All right. 1. Woo! Balance. 2. 3. You can always take out the knee to elbow and just do the deadlift. 4. 5. 6. 7, almost there. Back of my leg's on fire. 8, so is my calf. 9, and 10. Awesome. Now, bring the hands back to the mat. Come into a little bit of a half lift, but you only are on one leg. So the right leg is still down. Hands are there for support. Straighten through the left leg. Heel to the sky. Pump. 1, 2. Core tight. 3, 4. Square the hips. 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Plant the palms. Hop or step it back to plank. Bring the belly to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Press it back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left heel kicks to the sky. Maybe bend through the right leg. Flex the left foot and pump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rock forward to plank, knee to nose. 1 big breath here and step it through. Inhale up, high lunge. All right, taking the weight onto the left foot, step to the front of the mat, balance. Keep the hips square, engage the core. Baby bend in the left leg. Kick the right heel back. Come down to touch the mat or a block or a chair. I keep the leg bent. You can straighten it. I feel like it's harder to keep the hips square with it straight, but that's my flexibility. Yours might be different. Press through left heel, come back up. Left knee to right, left elbow to right knee. One-legged deadlift. Come back up, knee to elbow. Falling over. If you fall over, laugh it off and come back. We'll all do 10. 1. 2. I guarantee you that even the most graceful people on YouTube and TV fall over. 3, 4, woo! Legs on fire. 5, core tight. Flat back, dip the chin. 6, weight in the left heel. 7, almost there. 8, 9, struggling on this side. And 10. Keep the weight on the left foot. Come down, support with the hands. Flex the right foot and pump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes facing the ground. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plant the palms, hop, or walk it back to plank. And bring the belly to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. This time, take the hands in front of you. Clasp the hands. Index finger and thumb released. Bring the heels together, point the toes. Now, when we lift, you'll really be engaging the lower back, but you'll also be engaging the hamstrings and the glutes quite a lot. So dip the chin to lengthen the back of the neck. Your gaze is just a few inches in front of your nose. On the mat, a few inches in front of where your nose would be touching the mat. Heels together, little bend in the knees. Lift the legs, lift the arms, and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the butt. Squeeze the butt. Squeeze the glutes. Strong glutes. And release. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Oh, you should be feeling it. I'm feeling it. And release. Okay, last time. Lift and squeeze. Lift and squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Buns on fire. All right, release. Press it back to child's pose. Recalibrate. Big breath in. And big breath out. Walk the hands forward. Lift the hips. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right heel kicks to the sky. Set the right foot behind the left and walk the hands to the back of the mat. Forward fold with crossed legs. Crown of head yearns towards the mat. Shoulders move away from the ears, so don't let the shoulders creep up by the head. Keep that space. An option to stay here or walk the hands over to the left to deepen the stretch in the right hip. One more big breath here. And then walk the hands back to center and into downward facing dog. Lift the right heel up, step it down. Left heel lifts now. Step it behind the right and walk the hands to the back of the mat. Forward fold. With a twist. Well, a little bit of a twist. With a twist in the legs. Option to stay here or walk the hands over to the right to deepen the stretch in the left side. One more big breath. Walk the hands back in, come into three-legged dog, and step the left foot down. Downward facing dog. Shake the head once again, yes and no. Engage the core. Inhale, rock forward to plank. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Lengthen the tailbone towards the space between the heels. Gaze a foot or so in front of the hands. And now take the right hand where the left hand was, face the fingertips out, flip over, come into reverse plank. Point the toes, lift the booty high. You can always bend the knees and come into reverse tabletop. Try to make sure that the wrists are underneath the shoulders. I know it's hard to see. And then bend the right knee to knee to chest, left, 10 times. Lift the hips high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse plank. And turn the left fingertips out this time. Flip it back over to plank. And hop the feet to the front of the mat. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, swoop the hands up to the sky. And exhale, press the air away. Tadasana at the front of the mat. Inhale, swoop the arms to the sky. Exhale, flat back, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the palms. Step it back to plank. This time, give me a chaturanga. So, launch forward onto the toes, over the fingertips. Bend the elbows. Elbows stack directly over the wrists. And then inhale, lift the heart, drop the hips, come onto the tops of the toes. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, take your hands a little bit wider. Fingertips slightly facing in. Maybe bend the knees. Come onto the tippy toes. Keep a flat back. Keep the ears between the arms, so your gaze is towards the back of the room. And then bend the elbows, bringing the crown of the head towards the mat. Press back up. Pike press, shoulder push-ups. Bend the elbows, press back up. You want to keep the booty high, back flat. 10 times. 1, 2, so your core will be tight here. 3, 4, 5, 5 more, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Come back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg kicks high to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Bring the left heel down now, so you might need to step the left foot in a little bit closer. So your hips are square and your front leg rather is straight. Inhale, half lift, so get that flat back, square the hips, engage the core. And then exhale, fold, keeping the right hip back, left hip forward, micro bend in the right knee, extended side stretch. And once you've got that flat back and you really know you're hinging at the hips, you've got good alignment, if you so desire, you can also choose to then round the upper back and bring the forehead to the chest. Forehead to the chest. That's not where the forehead went. Bring the forehead to the shin. But that's yogi's choice. I'm going to keep the back flat. Excellent. Plant the palms. Step it back to plank. Chaturanga. Or belly to the mat, upward dog or cobra to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg kicks high to the sky. Exhale, step it through. Hop the right foot in just a little bit so we can square the hips and bring the right heel to the mat. Inhale, half lift, get that flat back, square the hips. Exhale, fold, either hands on the mat or on blocks if they're nearby. Micro bend in the left leg. Now once you've got this good alignment, you can choose to stay here with the long flat back or choose to round the upper back and take the stretch into a different dimension. Yogi's choice. I'm going to stay up here. Keep working on the squaring the hips. You might notice that the right hip wants to lift. Draw it forward while you press the left femur into the socket. And from here, step the right foot forward, bend the knees, and come to sit on your bum. Take the legs straight in front of you, flex the feet. Inhale, reach above the head, grow tall, and exhale, forward fold. Make sure all 10 toes are facing the sky. You might want to keep a bend in the knees if that feels better for you. You can always sit up on a block or a cushion. Forward fold. And once again, if it feels good to you, you can begin to allow the head to be heavy and really bring that forward fold into the upper back as well. Drawing the chin to the chest this time. As you're ready, you can roll slowly back up. Head's the last thing to come up. Bend the knees. Take the hands behind you and allow the knees to fall to the left and the right. A couple times windmilling the legs. And then bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, forward fold, cobbler's pose. Baddha Konasana. Coming back to the breath, noticing how it might be different now than it was at the beginning or in the middle of practice. Inhale, come back up. And slowly, vertebra by vertebra, roll all the way down onto the back, bringing the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. Now take your hands to your knees and maybe take the knees in a few circles, massaging that lower back. Switching directions. Come back to stillness. Draw the knees in towards the chest. And then reach and grab the feet. Flex the feet towards the sky. Knees towards the rib cage. Happy baby. Lengthen the tailbone towards the bottom of the mat. You might notice that this changes the stretch a little bit rather than the rounding of the tailbone. Press the pelvis into the floor, the back of the pelvis. If you'd like, you can play with straightening one leg here and then the other. Maybe roll a little bit to the right and to the left, massaging the back again. You straighten both legs, if that's in your practice. Kind of like a baby here. I feel like this is definitely a pose that infants do. So it probably means it's really good for us. Awesome. Release the legs. Take the soles of the feet to the mat. Lift the hips slightly and move the hips over to the right. And allow both legs to fall to the left. Try to stack the knees on top of one another. You'll notice if you look that your right knee will be farther back just because of how the body moves. So stack the right knee on top of the left by stacking the right hip on top of the left. You can take your left shoulder to the mat and reach the right arm back to the right. Continuing to keep the knees square, the hips square, and you should feel a nice stretch in the front of the right arm, shoulder, chest area. Come back to center, take the soles of the feet to the mat, lift the hips a few inches to the left now, and allow both knees to fall to the right. Again, you'll notice the left knee is behind the right, so square the knees, get a 90-degree angle in the knees, hips square, knees square, and reach the right arm up and back to the left. Allowing gravity to stretch the front of the shoulder. And release. Move your hips back to neutral, and once again allow the knees to fall to the left and the right. Neutralizing the lower back and also giving yourself a little bit of a massage. Come back to center, take both legs long, let the feet fall to the left and the right. You can take your hands closer to your body or allow them to stay out in a T shape like I am. Take up some space. Know that the space that you take up is important. You are worthy of taking up space. And this space, this time on your mat is precious and much needed. And one of the ways in which you can support yourself, your ability to give to others, to give to your job, it's a place to build that backbone and create that powerful posterior chain so that you can better confront the daily challenges of life. So stay here in Shavasana for as long as you're able, relishing in the stillness and the silence. And I'll see you next time with our next class together. Namaste.